Starmer admits he flew by private jet to clean energy jobs at a rally in Scotland. We're going to read into this more from The Guardian, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an article from The Guardian with the headline of Starmer admits he flew by private jet to clean energy jobs rally in Scotland. The Labour leader said it was the most effective form of transport from Wales and party had offset the carbon. Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and share us across social media so others are notified of this video. Now, first and foremost, I want to just stress that during an election campaign, it is obviously there are key seats, key target areas, obviously, for political parties to try and get to places as quickly as they possibly can. And obviously, there are understandable reasons why some parties will go to extraordinary lengths to get to places, because they want to get to as many as they can to up and down the country, because this is election campaign and you really want to get to as many places, speak to as many people as you can, knock on as many doors you can, go to many industry, business leaders and whatnot to promote your party and give your party the best possible chance they can at a general election. I think everyone can understand that. I think everyone can understand that premise. Of course, they should be out there non-stop going full blown in trying to do that. And I generally think that's what Keir Starmer and the Labour Party are trying to do. However, it is incredibly hypocritical for you to go by private jet to talk about clean energy. It really kind of smacks in the face of the whole reason that you're talking about clean energy. It kind of smacks in the face of it, if I'm honest. Now, understandably, I know it's a long way to go from England to Scotland. I get that. I think what they could have done, in my opinion, is obviously I don't think they planned it very well, if I'm honest. Now, if they had travelled by train up there, like did what they could have done, other ways they could have done it, is done drives or trains travels to certain stops along the way and then make their way up to Scotland. They could have done it like that, as opposed to just jet flying all the way up there, stopping at key spots and constituencies in certain areas on their way up to Scotland. They could have done that, in my opinion. I don't know what the full plan and schedule was of what the Labour's schedule plan with Sir Keir Starmer was, the campaign strategy, obviously, but they could have done that, like as they're going on their way up to Scotland, stop at certain points where could be potential targets where they're ensuring that they're going to get these seats and this seats and one or two other seats maybe in Scotland that they're looking to target as well, that they could have done, I think, as opposed to just zooming all the way up there. Especially when you're talking about clean energy, it does just feels a little bit distasteful from that. It's not ideal whatsoever. Now, obviously, I don't know. I tend to stay away from Scottish politics. For those who know me and my channel very well, and I always say that obviously, if you want the best recommendation when it comes to news and whatnot about Scottish politics, and I'll put a link in the description. I recommend checking out the youtube.com/the2davies when it comes to Scottish news. There, they live stream every Monday and Thursday. Thursday they do it live stream at 4 p.m. and Monday I believe is at 2 p.m. respectively. Sometimes they'll change the time slot, but it's mainly those time slots there. But I do recommend checking them out when it comes to Scottish politics. But I will say, obviously, now most polls are indicating that, and I say this is what polls are indicating, that they're indicating that Labour could take a few seats up in Scotland. Now, I think one of the premises could be is that many people in Scotland do feel that by maybe perhaps pushing casting their vote for Labour, that would give Labour the best chance of winning power in Westminster, as opposed to actually in terms of politics. I don't know what the average Scottish person is thinking in terms of their policies, but one of the things the majority of people still do, one thing that is uniting the SNP and uniting a lot of people, is still the get out clause that Scotland has, and that is independence. That they want to have that referendum again at some point in the future. They do want that vote, because there were promises that weren't made. And and one thing that without a doubt is the unionist parties, as they like to put it, they always try to play it down and try not to have people talking about it. But it's a subject that will still not go away in Scotland. It won't. It's not going to go away. It's a topic that's going to keep going. People will make the argument that it was once in a lifetime generation, and I will say to people, you can say it was a once in a lifetime generation for a vote. But what you also have to remember is there were promises and there were things that they were told that they were lied to in that vote. And based off that, in my opinion, the vote became null and void as far as I'm concerned, because they were given promises and assurances about things such as Brexit. They were told that there would not be a vote on leaving the EU, and here they are, a country that voted to remain in the EU, that end up now no longer in it. So, but there are still some people, obviously, who believe in what Labour are doing, and are probably going to get behind it, behind Scottish Labour as well. So let's read more into what this piece has to say here. So, Keir Starmer has admitted he uses a private jet to travel to a campaign rally in Scotland where he promised to create tens of thousands of clean energy jobs with new publicly owned energy company in the country. Responding to media questions after speaking to activists in Greenock, Inverclyde, Starmer said that we did use a private jet because we need to get very quickly from Scotland from Wales yesterday. It was the most effective form of transport in the middle of a very busy general election campaign. So this is the argument he made. He was going to Scotland from Wales yesterday. This is the argument about it. So again, I see, like, I get that premise in terms of quick transport, but my other premise is that could they have not planned it better to avoid the needs of when they are planning this? Could they not use private jets? Can they not use like this is where he is? How do we get him from here to here? Can we do stops along the way or something like that in each day to day in the run up? Like, there's quite a lot of things that they could have done. The things I think they could have done differently in this, but that's just my opinion. But obviously, I'm not a campaign manager. But that very fact that he took a private jet, and I know, don't get me wrong, Rishi Sunak is terrible because he takes private jets and helicopters all the goddamn time. Let's not take anything away from Rishi Sunak here, yeah? And Keir Starmer's not someone who's been known to take private jets very often, as far as I'm aware. Like, I don't know when the last time we covered Keir Starmer taking a private jet. I don't think this is the first time I've ever actually recalled it. So, again, I understand the criticism. I really do. But it's obviously he's not on the same level as Rishi Sunak with the amount of abuse that he takes. I mean, the guy only just literally took a train recently and he couldn't believe his eyes. He'd never seen a train before. He's never been on a train before. So yeah. But he added, we offset the carbon. We always do when we use transport in this air. But it's a practical solution because they need to get across the country to speak to as many people as possible. And when the time is right, we need to do it as effectively as possible. This is also why we need to look at, obviously, improving the transport and infrastructure, continuing to improve transport and infrastructure, and relying, less on private jets and whatnot. But that comes down to transport as well. Speaking alongside his deputy Angela Rayner, Ed Miliband, and the Scottish Labour leader Anna Sowa, Starmer told supporters his party would be ready to run with plans to create Great British Energy from day one, and promised that we will certainly, after the first year, be in a position to see the difference. Asked about repeated concerns raised by unions about the impact on jobs, Starmer says, it's been very clear that we're not turning off the tap. Oil and gas will be part of the mix for many years. We're not revoking any licenses, but transition is coming. So he's obviously, he's telling oil and gas companies, obviously, like we're not turning them off. We're not saying no to oil and gas, but he is kind of implying, obviously, according to this, is that, hey, we are going to start transitioning out of oil and gas. You guys need to be ready for that. Now, whether he will keep to that is another thing. That is questions that need to be raised. But they also don't like the fact that they're not revoking any licenses as well. So this will not be good in terms of the environment. Yeah, because of the things that the Conservatives have inputted, especially like the start of the Rosebank thing as well. Like, So yeah, I mean, a part of this is like you can't turn off the taps of oil and gas. No, everyone knows that. But it said the transition is coming. When is the key question? Midband said the plan meant Scotland will be a clean energy powerhouse of Great Britain, creating tens of thousands of jobs with strong trade unions and reindustrialising our country. Pressed on Angela Rayner's comments on Thursday that Diane Abbott should be allowed to stand again for the election if she wished to, Starmer declined to say whether he agreed with his deputy and repeated his position that the decision was for Labour's NEC. Starmer said no decision has been taken, no decision to bar Diane. Obviously, she's got the whip back, but she's been a trailblazer for many years. This is updated. I believe she has been, she is running for as a Labour candidate, as far as I'm aware, on the time of this recording. It has been the decision. She is actually running as a Labour candidate as time of this recording. But again, that could be another U-turn. But yeah, she is actually running, as far as I'm aware now. Asked about Michael Mathewson, the Scotland's former health secretary, who was suspended as an SNP and docked 54 days pay for wrongly claiming an £11,000 iPad roaming bill on expenses. Starmer backed Hollywood's constituents having the right call of their SNPs, as happened with MPs in the Commons, and says the parallels between the Tories and the SNPs were very striking. No, I don't accept that premise at all. You've got chaos and division, unelected leaders, and after unelected leaders are now on standbooks in public life. You've got the SNP picking up Boris Johnson's playbook. Again, I don't accept that premise. To compare the Tories to the SNP is folly, in my opinion. I don't accept that premise in any way, shape, or form. You know, and especially if you've seen like how Nicola Sturgeon has been as a leader for the SNP. I think she's been nothing short of brilliant. And I don't know enough. I don't personally know enough about John Sweeney. So for me to comment, Hamza Yousaf, obviously he had these problems and really shot himself in the foot with some of his decisions, no question. But I can't say anything too much about John Sweeney because I don't know him enough on these policies and whatnot. But obviously he has been someone who's been under Nicola Sturgeon for a good, who was under Nicola Sturgeon for a good while as well. So he is considered by many people a safe pair of hands, shall we say? I think is the right term to say there. But don't comparing the Tories and the SNP is not that's not right. That's not a comparison. Like the comparison is just not there. Like comparing the amount of problems that the Conservatives have is a completely contrast there. But so obviously I will say it's in terms of Scottish Labour, it's good for him to be up there, actually being in Scotland. You know, if they want to obviously win some seats and gain some voters in Scotland, you know, it's a good thing from Labour's perspective that they're up there. And obviously they were in Wales as well. I think that's a very good thing from Labour's point of view. For me, more the targets, obviously, it's going to be about winning the votes in England. I do think, there is potential target seats that they could potentially take from the SNP. But obviously we'll have to wait and see come as the clock ticks towards the general election. I would be interested to see if he would challenge John Sweeney to a political debate. That would be very interesting. I don't think he would, but obviously they're in Scotland. They have their own the Scottish Labour leader would have they would have their own debates, obviously, for the upcoming general election. But it would be interesting to see if they went head to head, John Sweeney and Keir Starmer. That would be an interesting one, to say the least. But in terms of obviously clean energy, you know, it sounds good on paper. Like I've said, like a lot of it sounds good on paper, but will it make the difference in terms of clean energy? Only time will tell. But what do you think, guys? What do you guys make of Keir Starmer flying by private jet from Wales to Scotland? What do you guys make of his green energy jobs rally there? Do you think that Labour can take some seats, potential seats from the SNP? What do you guys make of Scottish Labour and what they've been doing up there? For those up in Scotland, let me know your thoughts about them. Let me know your thoughts and more about what Keir Starmer's comments have made as well, about Diane Abbott and more. All that in the comment section down below. If you found this video interesting, please hit the like button. Be greatly appreciated. Share it across social media so others are notified of this video, and subscribe because it really does help support the channel. And if you want to go one step further, financially support me in the work that I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p, or join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content on those platforms. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope to catch you all very, very soon.